in this video we are going to study the topic of vectors. This topic is very important topic because it is used in the study of three-dimensional geometry in mathematics. Moreover, you need this topic in many fields of science also, especially in physics. Now students, as we know that there are two types of physical quantities. Number one is scalar quantities and number two vector quantities. Scalar quantities are those which need only magnitude and no direction. For example, mass of a body, temperature of this room, etc. On the other hand, we have vector quantities. Vector quantities are those which need both magnitude and direction. For example, force. Force is a vector quantity. Why? Because whenever we want to tell about force, that how much force we applied on a body, then I will have to tell two things, that how much force I applied on the body and in which direction I applied the force on the body. Suppose I am applying a force of 5 Newton on a body in the direction of positive direction of x-axis, then 5 Newton is the magnitude of this force and the positive direction of x-axis is the direction of this force. So force is a vector quantity. Now in this video we will study the vectors, and vectors are used to represent vector quantities. Now let us come to the main topic of vector. What is a vector? Vector is just an arrow which is used to represent vector quantities. Suppose I am having this arrow, then the length of this arrow represents the magnitude of the vector quantity and the direction of this arrow represents the direction of the vector quantity. In my previous example, I took a force of 5 Newton towards the positive direction of x-axis. Then the length of this vector will become 5 Newton. If I use this arrow to represent that force, then the length of this arrow will represents 5 Newton and the arrowhead of this arrow will be in the positive direction of x-axis. Now students, let us see some more things about vectors. Suppose it is a vector and I am writing capital A here and capital B here. Then this capital A is called initial point of the vector, and this capital B is called terminal point of the vector. Suppose I am writing a letter, small letter x here, then what will be the name of this vector? This vector will be denoted by AB vector or x vector. So you can denote this vector either by AB vector or x vector. And very important thing, its magnitude will be denoted by magnitude of AB vector or magnitude of x vector or simple x or simple AB or simple BA. So you can denote the magnitude of this vector by any one of these methods. Alright. Also, you have to remember that if I am writing BA vector and I am writing AB vector, then they are not exactly equal. Actually, BA vector and AB vector are same in magnitude. They are of equal lengths, but they are in opposite direction. That's why we have to use minus sign to equate them. So formula becomes a BA vector is equal to minus BA vector. But when we talk about their magnitudes, if I talk about AB, if I talk about BA, they are equal. Because AB is magnitude, means length of the vector, and BA is also the length of same vector measured in opposite direction, but it does not create any difference if you are measuring the length in this direction or in this direction. So AB and BA both are same because these are magnitudes, these are lengths of the vectors. Now students, we are coming to our next topic, which is types of vectors. So first of all, I am taking zero vector. As all of us know that suppose it is a vector, then this much length is called magnitude of the vector. Okay, this is called magnitude of the vector. And if I go on decreasing this length, then at some time you will find that its length has become 0. In that case, the whole vector will be condensed into a one point. So in that situation, we will say that this vector is a zero vector or null vector. And zero vector or null vector is denoted by zero vector or bold 0. And it has no magnitude. It has no magnitude. And secondly, its direction is not defined. Its direction is not defined. Now the next type of vector is unit vector. Unit vector. This is a very important type of vector. If magnitude of a vector becomes exactly 1 unit, I am repeating, if magnitude of a vector becomes exactly 1 unit, then we say that it is a unit vector, and it is denoted by the cap sign. What is cap sign? Cap sign is like this. For example, if it is a vector whose name is AB vector, and obviously its magnitude is equal to this much, and this vector is AB vector. Now if I divide this vector by its own magnitude, then what will happen? Its magnitude will remain only 1. If you are dividing the whole vector by its magnitude, then the magnitude of the vector will become 1. In that case, you will get unit vector in the direction of AB vector, and that will be equal to AB vector upon magnitude of AB vector. And since unit vector is denoted by cap sign, so I can say that it is AB cap. So AB cap is equal to AB vector upon magnitude of AB vector. And what is AB cap? AB cap is a unit vector in the direction of AB vector. Suppose it was our AB vector, then you can say AB cap is something like this. AB cap will have the same direction as the direction of AB vector, but the magnitude of AB cap will be only 1 unit. Similarly, if our vector is x vector and I want to find out unit vector in its direction, then what formula will I use? X cap is equal to x vector upon magnitude of x vector. In this, x vector is this vector. What is magnitude x vector? It is the magnitude of this vector. And what is the x cap? X cap is the unit vector in the direction of this x vector. There are some important unit vectors. As you know that in 3D we have 3 axes: x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. These 3 axes are mutually perpendicular to each other. All of us know it. Now the unit vector in the direction of x-axis is denoted by I cap. So what is I cap? I cap is unit vector in the direction of x-axis, means positive x-axis. Similarly, what is j cap? J cap is unit vector in the direction of y-axis, in the positive direction of y-axis. And k cap is unit vector in the direction of positive z-axis. So you have to remember that I cap means unit vector in the direction of positive x-axis, j cap means unit vector in the direction of positive y-axis, and k cap means unit vector in the direction of positive z-axis. Third type of vector, which is equal vectors. Equal vectors. Suppose I am having AB vector here and I am having CD vector at some another place. These two vectors, AB vector and CD vectors, have been made on different places. But what is the same thing in them? That their magnitudes are equal. It means I can say that AB vector, magnitude of AB vector is equal to magnitude of CD vector. The lengths of these two vectors are taken equal, and the direction of AB is same as the direction of CD. Means if AB is in the positive direction of x-axis, then CD is also in the positive direction of x-axis, like that. Both vectors are in same direction, both indicating the same direction. So it means the magnitudes are equal and the directions are same. So in that case, I will say that these two vectors are equal. So what is the definition of equal vectors? That if two vectors have equal magnitudes and same direction, then we call them equal vectors. And it is very important to note that the placement of vectors has no importance. For example, if this AB vector has been made here and CD vector has been made 1 kilometer far from here, then no problem. In that case also they will be equal vectors. Only two things matter. Number one, what are their magnitudes and what are their directions. If the magnitudes are equal and directions are same, then vectors will be equal, no matter at what distance they have been placed. Next is collinear vectors. Collinear vectors. Collinear vectors are those vectors whose lengths are parallel to each other. If the lengths of two vectors are parallel to each other, then we call them collinear vectors. We can also call them parallel vectors. If this length is parallel to this length, it means these two vectors are collinear to each other, and in this case also the two lengths are parallel to each other, so these are collinear vectors. Collinear vectors may have same direction also, may have opposite direction also. Collinear vectors may also have same magnitude. Collinear vectors may also have different magnitudes. Okay, but if their lengths must be parallel, that is the most important condition for the parallel vectors, that their lengths must be parallel. If lengths are parallel, then the vectors will be collinear, no matter what their directions are, no matter what their magnitudes are. Only you have to see whether their lengths are parallel or not. If lengths are parallel, then the vectors are collinear, or in simple language, vectors are parallel vectors. Now next type is position vector. Position vector of a point. Suppose I am having origin at this point. These are two axes, maybe three axes also. You can consider three axes also. If you are considering three axes, then x axis, y axis, z axis. And suppose, just to explain it in a simple way, I am taking only two axes. And A is any point here, O is origin, and I am joining origin with the point A. Then you see that I have got a vector, OA vector. This OA vector is known as the position vector of point A. So this whole vector, it means OA vector, is called position vector of point A, where O is origin. So position vector is quite simple. If you are having O as origin and A as any point, then the vector joining origin to that point is called position vector of that point. After this, we are coming to some important notes about the topic of vector. Important notes. Number one, suppose I am having 2 points. The coordinates of these points are x1, y1, z1, and coordinates of these points are x2, y2, z2. And suppose it is AB vector. it is initial point, it is terminal point. In that situation, the value of AB vector will be x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap and plus z2 minus z1 k cap. So this is a very important formula. You have to remember that in case if we are having initial point and terminal points of a vector in the form of coordinates, then the vector can be obtained by this formula. Number 2. Suppose I am having x vector is equal to ai cap plus bj cap and ck cap. Then magnitude of x vector will be square root of a square plus b square plus c square. It means inside the square root sign, you have to do the sum of squares of these coefficients a, b and c. A, b, c are called scalar components. And ai, bj, ck are called vector components. Now next is direction cosines. This is very important topic. Suppose there is a vector and that vector makes alpha angle from positive direction of y-axis, beta angle from positive direction of y-axis and gamma angle from positive direction of z-axis. Then the values of cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma are called direction cosines of that vector. Direction cosines are denoted by L, N generally. So the formula of L is cos alpha, M is cos beta and N is cos gamma, where what are alpha, beta, gamma? Alpha is equal to angle of vector from positive direction of x-axis. In the same way, what is beta? Beta is the angle of vector from positive direction of y-axis. And what is gamma? Angle of the vector from positive direction of z-axis. So direction cosines L, M, N are defined in this way. Now there are some important facts about direction cosines. Suppose I am having x vector equal to ai plus bj plus ck. In that case, a, b, c are called direction ratios. And the value of L, which I told you is equal to cos alpha, becomes equal to a upon under root a square plus b square plus c square. It means the formula of direction cosine L is equal to cos alpha and also equal to a upon this. Similarly, M is equal to cos beta is equal to b upon under root a square plus b square plus c square. And N is equal to cos gamma equal to c upon under root a square plus b square plus c square. I told you that under root a square plus b square plus c square is called magnitude of x vector. So in each case I am dividing a, b, c by magnitude of x vector every time. So in all these three formulas, what is coming in the denominator? Root a square plus b square plus c square. It means magnitude of x vector is coming in denominator of each of these formulas. One very important thing, if I do the squares of these formulas and do their sum, then I will get L square plus M square plus N square is equal to 1. So it is a very important formula regarding the direction cosines. You have to remember it. L square plus M square plus N square equal to 1, and you can verify this formula simply by putting the values of L, M, N here from these values. If you put this value in place of L, this value in place of M, and this value in place of N, then you will, after simplifying, you will get answer 1. One more thing, A square plus B square plus C square. In this L, M, N were direction cosines, but in this A, B, C are direction ratios. So if I do the sum of squares of direction ratio, then what will be its value? It's very easy. Suppose I mark a square root over it, then it will be definitely magnitude of x vector. We know it already, that root A square plus B square plus C square is equal to magnitude of x vector. And if I remove the square root sign from here, then what will happen? Whole square will come over it. So there are two formulas. If you are doing the square of direction cosines, then result will be 1. But if you are doing the square of direction ratios, then its result will be magnitude x vector square. Now students, I will tell you some more facts about parallel vectors. Suppose it is AB vector and it is CD vector, and these two vectors are parallel vectors and also called collinear vectors. In that case, what will happen? If I divide magnitude of AB vector by the magnitude of CD vector, then some constant value will come. So if you are dividing the magnitudes of two collinear vectors or parallel vectors, then always we get a constant. For example, suppose let us consider that its length is twice the length of CD vector. Its length is double the length of this. For example, it is 10 centimeter, it is 5 centimeter. And now what I do, if I divide AB vector magnitude by CD vector magnitude, then what will come? 2. Or you can say that magnitude of AB vector is equal to 2 into magnitude of CD vector. So it means when you are dividing magnitude of AB vector and magnitude AB vector by the magnitude of CD vector, you are getting a constant. Another example, suppose now AB vector is smaller and CD vector is let us say 3 times. Its length is 3 times the length of this. In that case, magnitude of AB vector and divided magnitude of CD vector, it will come now 1 upon 3, because it is smaller, it is larger. So if you are dividing their magnitudes, then you will get a fraction, and that fraction will come 1 upon 3. Secondly, if I find out the unit vector along AB vector, it is AB vector and suppose it is AB cap. What does AB vector mean? AB cap means a unit vector along the AB vector, and suppose it is CD cap. It is CD cap and it is AB cap. AB cap means unit vector in the direction of AB vector, and CD cap means unit vector in the direction of CD vector. So what is the relation between them? If two vectors AB vector and CD vector are parallel, then their unit vectors will be either equal with plus sign or equal with negative sign. So if these two vectors are in the same direction and these two vectors are parallel also, in that case AB cap and CD cap will be equal. But if by chance AB vector and the CD vector are in opposite direction, their magnitudes are their lengths are parallel, in that case the unit vectors will be equal but with opposite sign. So in general, what can I say? In general, I can say that if AB vector and CD vector are parallel, if AB vector and CD vector are parallel, in that case AB vector is equal to lambda times magnitude AB vector is equal to lambda times of CD vector. One thing is this, and another thing is this, that AB cap is equal to plus minus CD cap. So these 2 points we have to remember regarding parallel vectors or also called collinear vectors. Third point also, suppose A vector is equal to A1, suppose X vector is equal to A1 I cap, B1 J cap, C1 K cap, and Y vector is equal to A2 I cap plus B2 J cap and C2 K cap, and X vector comma Y vector are parallel. So suppose the vector value of X vector is this and value of Y vector is this, and it is given to us that both vectors are parallel. In that situation, A1 upon A2 is equal to B1 upon B2 is equal to C1 upon C2. What is the meaning of this? It means that if two vectors are parallel, then corresponding coefficients of I cap, J cap and K cap will be in the same proportion. Same proportion means that ratio of A1 A2, ratio of B1 B2 and ratio of C1 C2 will be equal. So I have told you 3 facts about parallel vectors or collinear vectors. Now students, we will understand the sum of two vectors and difference of two vectors. Suppose it is A vector and it is some another vector B vector, and I want to find out that where is A vector plus B vector, or what is A vector plus B vector. So what I will do, I will pick this vector from here and I will put this vector here at the end point of A vector. While transferring the vector from here to here, I will keep in mind that I have not to rotate the direction of the vector. So it means I will copy or I will transfer this vector from this place to this place without rotating its direction and without changing its magnitude. So suppose this vector is coming here like this. I have not changed the magnitude and I have not changed the direction. So it is A vector, and in the continuation I have copied B vector. Now if I join this initial point with this terminal point, then I get a vector which is called A vector plus B vector. So if it is A vector and it is B vector, then this vector is called the sum of A vector and B vector, which is obviously denoted by A vector plus B vector. In the same way, if I want to understand the meaning of difference of two vectors, then what will I do? Let us understand this. Suppose it was A vector and suppose it is B vector, and I want to find out their difference. Then what will I do? I will transfer this vector B vector from this place to this place like this, and without changing its direction and without changing its magnitude. I have to keep the magnitude same and I have not to change the direction. So it is A vector and it is B vector. The two vectors have been placed in such a way that their terminal points are at the same point. Now if I join this, then this vector is known as A vector minus B vector. So I have told you that what is the meaning of A vector plus B vector and what is the meaning of A vector and A vector minus B vector. Now let us understand the concept of vectors with the help of some examples. Example number 1. If X vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k, and I say that find out its magnitude. So what will be its magnitude? Magnitude X vector will be square root 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square, and after calculation whatever result come, that will be the answer. 4 plus 9 plus 16 under root 29 units. So the magnitude of this vector is square root 29 units. Secondly, if I say that find out the scalar components, then it is quite simple. Scalar components means 2, 3 and 4. Simply you have to copy the coefficients of I cap, j cap, k cap. Those will be scalar components. And suppose I say find out vector components. Then again it is quite simple. If you want to write down vector components, then you have to copy these terms separately. 2i, 3j, 4k, like this. And remember that scalar components are also called direction ratios. Now, fourth point, suppose I say that find out their direction cosines. The formula of direction cosine is L equal to A upon under root A square plus B square plus C square. In this, A is 2, B is 3 and C is 4. So if I put all the values of ABC into this, then I will get 2 upon square root 29. It is A here, it is B and it is C. M is equal to B upon under root A square plus B square plus C square is equal to 3 upon under root 29. In the same way, n will come 4 upon under root 29. Now next point is, suppose I want to find out the angle of this vector from positive direction of x-axis. Since L is equal to cos alpha is equal to A upon under root A square plus B square plus C square. It is the formula of direction cosine. First formula of direction cosine. There are 3 formulas of direction cosines. L equal to this, B equal to and C equal to. L equal to this, M equal to this and N equal to this. So I am taking this one. Implies that cos alpha is equal to A was 2 and root A square plus C square became square root 29. If I shift cos alpha to other side, then alpha is equal to cos inverse 2 upon under root 29. Now, do you remember what I told you about alpha? Alpha is the angle of vector from positive direction of x-axis. So I can say that angle of this vector from positive direction of x-axis is cos inverse 2 upon square root 29. In the same way, if you want to find out beta, you can find that. If you want to find out gamma, you can find also. Now let me take one more example. Example number 2. Suppose I give you x vector equal to I minus j plus 2k, and I give you y vector equal to 2i plus 7j minus k. So for example, I have taken these 2 values of x vector and y vector, and I say that find out x vector plus 2y vector. I say that find the value of this. So it is very simple. The value of x vector is I minus j plus 2k, and 2y vector means do the double of this. So if you will do the double of this, then 4i plus 14j minus 2k. And after that, you simply algebraically calculate them. I and 4i means 5i minus j and 14j, 13j, and 2k are being cancelled. So answer is left 5i plus 13j. In the same way, if I say you that find out x vector minus y vector, it will also be done in the same manner. You will put the values of x vector and y vector. X vector was I cap minus j cap plus 2k cap and minus y vector. Now subtract this. So minus 2i minus 7j plus k. After that, solve them. I and minus 2i minus I, minus j minus 7j minus 8j plus 2k and k 3k. So it is the answer of this one. Now I will take another example in which I will tell you about parallel vectors. Example number 3. Suppose I am giving you x vector equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k, and y vector is equal to 4i plus 6j plus 8k. So I want to know that whether these two vectors are parallel or not. It's very simple. You find out the ratio of these two terms. So 2 upon 4 is equal to 1 upon 2. Then you find out the ratio of these two terms. 3 by 6, 1 upon 2. 4 by 8, 1 upon 2. And these three ratios are coming same. So I can say that coefficients of I cap, j cap and k cap are in proportion. And whenever this happens, whenever the coefficients of I cap, j cap, k cap are in proportion, then the two vectors will become parallel. So in this example, these two vectors are definitely parallel. Suppose I do some change here. In place of this, I write down 9. In that case, what will happen? The ratio of these two terms will be 1 by 2. Ratio of these two terms will be 1 by 2, but ratio of last two terms will not be 1 by 2. It means all the coefficients are not in same proportion. It means now these two vectors are not parallel. Now students, we are coming to very important part of this topic vector. This topic is scalar product of two vectors. Suppose I am having two co-initial vectors. I said co-initial. Co-initial vectors are those vectors whose initial point is same. If two vectors are made in such a way that initial points coincide, then we call them co-initial vectors. So these two vectors are co-initial because they are having same initial point, and at theta is the angle between them. Then the scalar product or dot product is defined by this formula: a vector dot b vector is equal to magnitude of a vector, magnitude of b vector, and cos theta. It is important to remember that the value of a vector dot b vector is always a scalar quantity. You have to remember that the result of a dot b will always be a scalar quantity, and you have to always remember that a dot b and b dot a are same. If you are doing a scalar product of a with b or b with a, then it is not creating any difference. They are giving the same result. It means we can say that dot product is commutative. Dot product is commutative. Now we will see some facts about scalar products. Number one, if a vector is perpendicular to b vector. If I am having two vectors, a vector and b vector, and they are perpendicular to each other, it means the angle between the two vectors is becoming 90. Since the vectors are perpendicular, so angle between them will become 90 degree. So that is theta is equal to 90 degree. In that case, what will happen? The formula of a dot b was magnitude a vector, magnitude b vector, cos theta. And since angle between the two vectors is 90 now, so if you put 90 degree here, and we know that value of cos 90 is 0, so due to this 0, the whole value will become 0. So implies that a vector dot b vector equal to 0. So when a vector is perpendicular to b vector, then the dot product is 0. You can also say in this way, if two vectors are orthogonal, in that case the scalar product will become 0. Point number 2, if I do the dot product of a vector with a vector, then what will happen? Let us go back to the formula again. A dot b, its formula was magnitude a vector and magnitude b vector cos theta. and since I am taking here a vector, it means both vectors are same and angle between the same vectors will be taken as 0. So if I put 0 here and in place of b I will take a, in place of b I will take a, then what is the value of cos 0? The value of cos 0 is 1. So it means it will become a vector dot a vector is equal to magnitude a vector square. So it means our formula is a dot a is equal to magnitude of a vector square. And you have to remember that a dot a is also denoted by a vector square. So a vector square is equal to magnitude of a vector square. You have to remember that a vector dot a vector is denoted by a vector whole square. When we have two same vectors in dot product, then we can simply write down the whole square of that vector. So if I mix these two formulas, I can say a vector dot a vector is equal to a vector square is equal to magnitude of a vector square is equal to simple a square. So okay, let us come to next formula. Formula number 3. Suppose I give you I cap dot j cap, then what will happen? As we know, I cap is a unit vector along positive direction of x-axis and j cap is unit vector along positive direction of y-axis and k cap is unit vector along positive direction of z-axis, and all the three axes are mutually perpendicular. So it means I cap and j cap will also be perpendicular to each other. And if I cap and j cap are perpendicular to each other, it means if they are orthogonal, then I told you that when two vectors are perpendicular, then their dot product becomes 0. So I dot j will become 0. In the same way, if I take j dot k, that will also become 0. If I take k dot I, then that will also become 0. So this becomes a formula that I dot j dot k and k dot a, all these are 0. If we have two different unit vectors, then if we have two different unit vectors from I cap, j cap, k cap, then their dot product always becomes 0. And what is the reason of that? Because I cap, j cap, k cap are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now students, if I take I dot I, then the value of I dot I, j dot j and k dot k, values of all these is 1. Why? Because I told you formula today that a vector dot a vector is equal to magnitude of a vector square. This formula I have just told you. In place of a vector, I am putting I cap. So I cap dot I cap equal to magnitude of I cap square. And all of us know that I cap is a unit vector and magnitude of a unit vector is always 1. So it means 1 square, and 1 square will give us 1 only. So that's why I dot I is 1, and in the same way we can explain that j dot j is 1 and k dot k is also 1. Now let us come to point number 5. The point number 5 is, suppose if x vector is equal to a1 I cap, b1 j cap, c1 k cap, y vector is equal to a2 I cap, b2 j cap and c2 k cap, and if I do the dot product of them, then simple formula is a1 a2 plus b1 b2 plus c1 c2. Now how is this? Actually, when you are doing the dot product of x vector and y vector, then what will happen? All of these terms will be dot product with these terms, and if I take this term with this term, then I dot I will become 1, so a1 a2 will left. But if I take this term with this term, then due to the presence of I dot j, that will become 0 because I dot j is 0. So this term cannot come with this term. Similarly, this term will not come with this term. So ultimately what will happen? Only the term having I cap will be multiplied with the term having I cap, because I cap dot I cap is 1 and I cap dot j cap is 0, I dot k cap is also 0. In the same way, if you can multiply this term only with this term, otherwise all the terms will be 0, and similarly this term will be multiplied with this term. So x dot y, the direct formula of x dot y is this. I can say this formula in words as that whenever we do the dot product of two vectors, then we do the sum of products of corresponding coefficients of I cap, j cap and k cap. It means you will multiply the coefficient of I cap with the coefficient of I cap only, coefficient of j cap with the coefficient of j cap only, and coefficient of k cap with the coefficient of k cap only. Next is projection. Projection of B vector on A vector. Suppose it is A vector and it is B vector. I have drawn both vectors in such a way that they are co-initial. Co-initial means that their initial point is at the same place. Let us draw perpendicular from here. So this part is known as projection. Projection of B vector on A vector. And in this I want to find out this projection. Let us consider that this angle is theta. Let us put some names here. It is P, it is Q, at this point is R, this point is S. So in triangle PQS, if I apply cos theta, then we know that cos theta means base upon hypotenuse. So base is PQ and hypotenuse is PS. If I do the cross multiplication, then PQ is equal to PS into cos theta. Implies that PQ is equal to, now in this portion I am multiplying and dividing by PR. So PR into PS cos theta upon PR implies that PQ is equal to, what is PR? PR is actually the magnitude of A vector. What is PS? PS is the magnitude of B vector cos theta as it is, and PR is magnitude of A vector. So implies that PQ is equal to, it become A dot B and upon magnitude of A vector. So we have obtained a formula for finding projection of B vector on A vector, and the formula of projection is A dot B upon magnitude A vector. If we are finding the projection of B vector on A vector, then magnitude A vector will come in divide and their dot product will come in numerator. But if you do reverse of this, if you find out the projection of A vector on B vector, then what change will be there? A small change. In numerator there will be no change, but in denominator, in place of magnitude A vector, you will have to take magnitude of B vector. Now students, I will tell you some algebraic identities based on the scalar product. These identities are A vector plus B vector whole square is equal to A vector square plus B vector square plus 2 A vector dot B vector. Number 2, A vector minus B vector whole square is equal to A vector square plus B vector square minus 2 A dot B. Let us do the proof of any one of these identity. Suppose I am doing the proof of second one. Proof. left hand side, what is the left hand side? A vector minus B vector whole square. A vector minus B vector dot A vector minus B vector. Due to the presence of whole square, dot product comes, remember. Now do the distribution. Take A vector with A vector, so A vector dot A vector, and take A with B, so minus A dot B. After that, take this with this, so minus B dot A, and then take this with this, so plus B dot B is equal to, it becomes A vector square. You can write A dot A as A vector whole square minus A dot B and minus A dot B. Do you see what did I change? What did I do? In place of B dot A, I have written A dot B, because in the starting I told you that A dot B and B dot A are same thing. And I can write down it B vector whole square. Finally, A vector whole square plus B vector whole square, and this will become minus 2A dot B. So by this we come to the end of the proof of this formula. In the same way you can do the proof of first one. Now write down formula number 3. A vector plus B vector dot A vector minus B vector is equal to A vector whole square minus B vector whole square. Number 4. A vector plus B vector plus C vector whole square is equal to A vector square plus B vector square plus C vector square plus 2A dot B plus 2B dot C plus 2C dot A. So by this we come to the end of this part in which I am telling you scalar product of two vectors. Now I will take next part. Now students, we are coming to vector product of two vectors. Suppose it is A vector and it is B vector, and these two vectors are co-initial also. Theta is the angle between them. Then according to definition, A vector cross B vector is equal to magnitude of A vector, magnitude of B vector, sine theta and n cap. This A vector cross B vector is called the cross product of these two vectors. We also call it vector product of A vector and B vector. Here A magnitude A vector is the magnitude of this vector and magnitude B vector is the magnitude of second vector. Theta is the angle between them. Now most important part of this thing is n cap. That what is n cap? Actually n cap is a unit vector perpendicular to both A vector and B vector. But what is the direction of n cap? To understand the direction of n cap, I will tell you. N cap is a unit vector perpendicular to the screen of the device which you are watching now. Let me repeat. N cap is a unit vector perpendicular to the screen of this device which you are using for watching this video, and the direction of n cap is towards your eyes. It means the direction of n cap is something like this. You see this pen, you see the marker pen. This marker pen is perpendicular to this whiteboard, and this marker is emerging out from the whiteboard. So it is the direction of n cap. In this way you can understand the location and position of n cap. Alright, so always remember that what is n cap. In simple language I can say that n cap is a unit vector perpendicular to both A vector and B vector, and it emerges out from the whiteboard towards the viewer, or you can say that n cap is perpendicular to the screen of this device and towards your eyes. Now let us see some facts about A cross B. Number one, the result of A cross B is always a vector quantity. Whenever you find out cross product of two vectors, you can say cross product, you can say vector product, same thing. Whenever you find out cross product of two vectors, then the result is always a vector quantity. Number two, A cross B and B cross A are not equal. Actually, they have a difference of minus sign. Magnitude wise they are equal, but direction wise they are opposite. Number three, A cross A cannot be written as A vector whole square. Remember that A cross A cannot be written as A vector whole square. In fact, if you are having A dot A, then you can write that A vector whole square. Students, we will see some formulas based on the scalar, based on the vector product or cross product of two vectors. Formula number one is, suppose it is A vector and it is B vector, and if I am having two vectors which are parallel, in that case what will happen? Theta will become 0 degree, and we know that the formula of A cross B is equal to magnitude A vector magnitude B vector sine theta n cap. And when you put 0 degree in place of theta here, it becomes sine 0, and the value of sine 0 is 0. So due to this 0, the whole right hand side will become 0. It means in this situation A cross B becomes 0. So our formula is, if two vectors are parallel to each other, in that case their cross product becomes 0. Now formula number two, if we are having two same vector A cross A, then what will be their cross product? Its cross product will be 0. Why? Because both vectors are same, A vector, it means they are in same direction. It means angle between them is 0. So due to since angle is 0 and sine theta is 0, that's why the cross product will become 0. So the cross product of same two vectors is always 0. Formula number 3. Suppose I do the cross product of I cap with I cap, or j cap with j cap, or k cap with k cap. In that case all these results are 0. Why? What is the reason? Just before this I told you, if we have two vectors, two same vectors, then their cross product becomes 0. So according to that formula, I dot I will be 0 because these are same. Similarly j and j are same, so cross product 0. So this formula is based on this formula. Formula number 4, I dot j equal to j dot k equal to, I dot j is equal to k, j dot k is equal to I, and k dot I is equal to j. These formulas can be remembered with the help of a circle. Here I am writing I cap, j cap and k cap, and you have to rotate this circle clockwise. How will you remember these formulas with the help of this circle now? If you do the cross product of I with j, then k will come. You can see here I cross j equal to k. If you do the cross product of j with k, then I will come. If you do the cross product of k with I, then j will come. So you have to rotate this circle in clockwise direction. By chance, if you want to rotate the circle in anti-clockwise direction, in that case result will become negative. For example, if I do the change in the direction of this, then j dot I will become minus k. J cross I will become minus k. And now change the direction of this formula. So k cross j is equal to minus I. Change the direction in this formula. I cross k is equal to minus j. Next, formula number 5. Suppose x vector is equal to a1 I cap, b1 j cap and c1 k cap. y vector is equal to a to I cap plus b to j cap plus c to k cap, and I want to find out their cross product. Then this cross product can be found with the help of determinant. In this you have to make a determinant of 3 by 3. 3 by 3 means 3 rows and 3 columns. In the first row you will have to write I cap, j cap, k cap. In the second row you will write down the coefficients of I cap, j cap, k cap from first vector. So first vector is this one, and from this vector who are the coefficients? a1, b1, c1. And similarly in the third row you will take coefficients from the second vector a2, b2, c2. After that you will find out the value of this determinant either by expanding it or by using properties of determinants. So that is up to you. After simplifying it you will get the value of this vector in terms of I cap, j cap and k cap. Let me repeat it. X cross y equal to determinant. In the first row I cap, j cap, k cap. In the second row coefficients from here, and in the third row coefficients from here, and after that simply either expand it or use the properties of determinants. Now let us come to formulas related to areas. Suppose there is a triangle. This side is a vector and this side is b vector. Then the area of this triangle will be, area is equal to half magnitude of a cross b. Suppose you are having a parallelogram. This side is a vector and this side is b vector. Then the area of this parallelogram will be magnitude of a vector cross b vector. Suppose you are having a parallelogram in which diagonals are given to you. This diagonal is d1 vector and this diagonal is d2 vector. Then the area of this parallelogram will be half magnitude d1 vector cross d2 vector. So with the help of these formulas you can find out the area of triangle and parallelogram. Our next formula is unit vector along a vector cross b vector. N cap is equal to a vector cross b vector upon magnitude of a cross b. It means if we are having two vectors a vector and b vector and we want to find out unit vector in the direction of a cross b, then this formula will help us. Next formula is unit vector perpendicular to both a vector b vector. Then that formula is plus minus n cap. Now students, we are coming to the last topic of this video, which is scalar triple product. Scalar triple product of a vector, b vector, c vector is defined in this way. Scalar triple product of a vector, b vector, c vector is equal to a vector dot b cross c. It is denoted by bracket, square bracket, a vector, b vector, c vector. So I can say that square bracket a vector, b vector, c vector is equal to a vector dot b cross c. Now some facts about it. Scalar triple product is always a scalar quantity. Scalar triple product is always a scalar quantity, means the result which comes after calculating the scalar product of three vectors is always a scalar quantity. Number two, if you change the sequence of these three letters in a cyclic order, then its value is not affected. If you are maintaining the same cyclic sequence, the value of the scalar triple product will remain same in each case. What is the meaning of this? I am telling you. A vector, B vector, C vector. Cyclic order means A, B, C. So if I write it BCA, even then its value is same because I did not change the cyclic order. When I started from A, then my cyclic order was ABC. When I am starting from B, cyclic order will become BCA. And suppose if anyone starts from C, then what cyclic order he or she will get? C, A and B. So all these three scalar triple products have the same value. Also, if you want to write like this, A dot B cross C, and if you are maintaining the same cyclic sequence, then B dot C cross A is equal to C dot A cross B. One more thing, you can write in this way also. A cross B dot C is equal to B cross C dot A is equal to C cross A dot B. So I have written the same thing in 9 different styles, and all these 9 have same value. This is a very important point, that if you are not changing the cyclic order of the letters in the scalar triple product, the value will come same. But if you are changing the cyclic order, in that case a negative sign will be developed. For example, if I am writing BCA, suppose I am writing ABC and I am writing ACB. So these two scalar triple products have different cyclic order. It is ABC and it is not ABC. In that case, their value will be same, but with an opposite sign. So if we change the cyclic order of letters, then only minus sign comes before, and magnitude wise the value remains same. Now next is how to find out value of a scalar triple product. Suppose if x vector is equal to a1i plus b1j plus c1k, y vector is equal to a2i plus b2j plus c2k, z vector equal to a3i plus b3j plus c3k, and I want to find out scalar triple product of them, then simply I will make a determinant. In the first row, I will take the coefficients from this vector a1, b1, c1. In the second row, I will take coefficients from the second vector a2, b2, c2. And in the third row, I will take coefficients from here a3, b3, c3. After that, you will expand this determinant, or if it is possible, then you will apply the properties of determinants. So whatever technique you want to use, you can use, but you will have to simplify it, and after that you will get some scalar value. After simplifying it, you will get some scalar value, because the scalar triple product always gives us a scalar result, never vector result. Next point is, suppose I am having a parallelepiped. It is a parallelepiped. Let us consider that this vector is a vector. Let us consider that this vector is b vector, and this vector as c vector. So here there is a parallelepiped and I have taken A vector, B vector, C vector at the adjacent edges of that. Right? A vector, B vector, C vector are three adjacent edges of this parallelepiped. Then the volume of this parallelepiped will be equal to square bracket A vectors, B vector and C vector. It means if you find out the scalar triple product of A vector, B vector, C vector, you can get the volume of this parallelepiped. Very easy. And very important point, by chance if volume comes 0, then what will you say? If volume comes 0, then you will say that these three vectors are coplanar. Coplanar means in the same plane. So note, if volume is equal to 0, then A vector, B vector, C vector are coplanar. Now students, we have finished the topic of vectors. In this video, I tried my best to cover all the major concepts based on the topic of vectors. But if you have any suggestion, you please write down in the comment section of this video. Also, I have given some links in the description box of this video from where you can understand the topic such as determinants. Thank you.